for tuning into the stream. We appear to be live right now on YouTube as well as Twitch TV. So thank you for stopping by. And you might notice something a little bit different than what we're doing. Usually it's always something different on my side. Usually it's always something different. But that is correct. The stream for today is going to be one of my favorite gaming organizations. We are going to be diving deep into the history of them. They are most known for playing Call of Duty. But today, you guys are going to learn all about the history of OpTic gaming. And what I wanted to do with this series is actually diverge the parts into different little streams here, but we are going to cover mostly all of the OpTic rivalries that they have had over the years. Now let me switch over here to our live feed on Twitch so all the people can see us. Hopefully it's not too laggy. Looks like we're switching over though. Okay. Hello everybody. Welcome to the stream. Now as I said, we are mostly going to be talking about the history of OpTic gaming. I am pretty much comfortable with speaking on this because I was there ever since the beginning. I know a lot about some of these clans. First, I'll talk about myself, my competitive career, why I stopped playing competitively, and then we will also get into the video, which is going to be OpTic versus FaZe. That is going to be part one, and I will start it with this. When I first started playing competitively, the first game I ever played competitively was Unreal Tournament 3. For those of you who don't know what Unreal Tournament 3 is, I would pretty much describe it as a cross between Quake and Battlefield, okay? I remember way back in the day watching my older brother. He would play on PC mostly. He was a PC gamer, and he's one of the greatest, PC technicians I've ever seen in my life. I mean, he builds his own towers. He works on computers his entire life. Anytime that I have a problem with my PC or any of my computers, he's basically the one that I go to and ask for the solution. Smartest person I've ever seen when it comes to computers. He's basically my mechanic, like I said, when I have problems. But a very long time ago, hello, welcome to the stream. A very long time ago, basically from 2007 to 2009, I would play Unreal Tournament 3. I would love to see an Unreal Tournament 4, but unfortunately, Midway and Epic Games have kind of focused more of their attention now on the Fortnite series, which is understandable. I don't think there is a diehard community for Unreal Tournament, but I don't think they're going to be anywhere compared to like the Fortnite community nowadays. And hello, Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan. We're doing good. We're just diving into some streams today. We're just getting started. So honestly, my competitive scene started with Unreal Tournament 3. The first Call of Duty that ever got me into competitive was COD 4, Modern Warfare, and that was in 2007. After that, I mean, I basically followed the trend of playing Call of Duty every single year. World at War, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 2, COD Ghost. Call of Duty Ghost was pretty much the last time I have ever streamed, or played competitively, I should say. Call of Duty Ghost, after that, I pretty much retired. I don't necessarily stream that game. I've never heard of that game. We got some comments here on the chat, but I'm not aware of that game. I am aware of Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Dead by Daylight, which kind of ties into what I'm talking about right now. But the last game that I ever attempted to actually play competitively was Doom 2016. And with Doom 2016, I pretty much held like a 5+ KD in that game. If any of you have ever played Doom multiplayer, you should know how difficult that game is online. So Doom 2016 was really the last time that I ever really played competitively in any game. And for that reason, I mean, like I said, I held down like a 5 plus KD, never got any team offers, never really got any friends to like play along with me with that. So that is kind of why I stopped playing competitively too. I will say this though, right around like Black Ops 1, I was kind of more of like a support role. I remember in Black Ops 1, me and a lot of all my friends, we started like a little clan together. And from that point on, I mean, there were nights that we got to play Ground War because we had like 8 plus people in our lobbies. And I miss those times. I truly do. And that's kind of why I'm making this series now, to just go back down memory lane and revisit some of these old memories. Um, Honestly, it was, back in my day when I started playing Call of Duty, it was just to have fun. It wasn't like this whole pro scene that you see today and everything. I started actually making montages for a lot of the people in my clan. So I would take, a lot of the videos, edit them, and then upload them to a channel. Not this one. This was a long time before this channel ever existed. Oh, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, no, I think there might have been like gameplays where other people play that game, but me myself, I've never played that game myself. My name is created because of my music, and also like I said, the clan that I once tried to create, Legend Killers. It's also inspired from WWE Randy Orton. So Phenomena basically just comes from my music career. Um, that is basically the label that I operate. So that is the whole reason why my name is Phenomena Legend Killers. I pretty much just combine the thing that I love with music, and then also WWE Randy Orton, because that was basically the clan that I also wanted to start, Legend Killers. Um, but I will say, as again, when I was doing, when I was first playing Call of Duty, when it first came onto the scene many years ago, since we are talking about OpTic and FaZe today, when it comes down to these two clans, FaZe was really more known for their trick shotting, and they were more of like a trick shot clan. Um, they were OpTic and FaZe were the two biggest like sniping clans back in Call of Duty in the day. So OpTic, I think, was more focused on how many kills you could get. Like if you were just a fucking tank with your sniper rifle, if you got like 30, 40, 50 kills a game, you probably joined OpTic. But if you were more of a trick shotter, you probably were more interested in FaZe. Um, Now, these two clans definitely go back all the way to the dawn of Black Ops 1 when I was still, basically a rookie, basically a freshman, getting my feet wet in the competitive scene. It wasn't really until Modern Warfare 3, the original Modern Warfare 3, where I really started to catch fire and when I really started to like actually become a better player and a better teammate for the people that I was playing with. Um, Once Black Ops 2 came around, I mean, that was my fucking game. Black Ops 2 was like, it still is one of my favorite Call of Duties to this day. I had a best friend who, for the remainder of these streams, we will keep nameless. The nameless shall remain unnamed. But me and my best friend, we pretty much played Black Ops 2 like we were Scump and Nade Shot, and that was kind of our entire goal the entire time. We both loved OpTic Gaming. We both wanted to join OpTic Gaming at some point to be in the competitive scene. I was never too much into the sniping. I mean, I know there's definitely great snipers out there. I was way back watching, Pomage and FaZe Fakey. I'm aware of guys like that. And one of my favorite snipers in OpTic was Predator. So if you know anything about your Call of Duty history, Predator was definitely a monster on the sniper rifle. Yeah, you definitely should try the game. If you're interested in it, you definitely should play it. If it's on PC, you just need a PC that's capable of handling that. My brother, he has a phenomenal PC. I mean, this guy could probably play Elden Ring at any point if he wants to. Like I said, my brother is more of the PC gamer. I've kind of always been Sony PlayStation. But that's kind of why I wanted to talk about this too. Um, Once Black Ops 2 came around, me and my friend, my best friend, when it came to this Call of Duty shit, we were so, set on joining OpTic. We were really good teammates. Like I said, we made a really good duo The chemistry was always there. And I don't want to make it sound like we were like unbeatable or like flawless or anything, because there are definitely times where we lost. But the thing that I liked about having him as my teammate, and the reason I think we complemented each other as a duo, is because even when there were moments that we lost, we didn't get mad at each other. You know, it wasn't like a fuck you, you suck kind of thing. Um, if anything, we kind of just slapped each other up, right? If it was like an S&D round or like a round of domination is over, we would just slap each other up, because I would take my console and I would take my television over to his house. You know, we would play Call of Duty from the time we basically got out of high school all throughout the night, like next day, like basically this time, like 8 a.m., 7 a.m. type shit. Currently 8 a.m. here in Buffalo, New York. But I mean, we were so close. I could just leave, my console and my TV at his house. By the time we got out of school, we were playing it all throughout the day and all throughout the night. And then, we also did game battles, because back then you actually had to have MLG accounts, and you would basically play game battles to ensure that you were like somewhere on the leaderboards or the ranking system, however you want to call it. Nowadays, it still pretty much exists in modern like pro league Call of Duty, but back in the day, you had to create an MLG account and you had to sign up for game battles. And once you had a game battles match, that was set in stone. That was the match you played. And if somebody was cheating, you had to know about it so you could report them, shit like that. I mean, there were times where me and my best friend, we pretty much, I would have a team and we would scrim against each other. He would have a team. And like I said, there were moments where we played against each other and it was never anything out of animosity. If anything, as I said, we just had the same focus on kind of playing for OpTic Gaming one day. That was always our goal. But as the years went on, Call of Duty Ghosts, like I said, was the last Call of Duty I ever played. Ghost, I always loved. I don't really understand why it had such a bad reputation. If anything, I think they should make a Ghost 2. They haven't done that, and for whatever reason, I couldn't tell you. But to me, the last Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 is kind of like their take on a Ghost 2. I don't know. That's just how I felt about it. Like the more recent Modern Warfares, which absolutely suck compared to the originals. The great thing that I loved about the original Modern Warfare trilogy was definitely the stories and how they all tied in together. Um, in COD 4, you basically had, Soap watching the death of his team. And then in Modern Warfare 2, once they announced that Soap McTavish was going to be a captain for the first time, captain of Task Force 141, I was immediately sold on the game. And Modern Warfare 2 still is a fucking legendary game in the community. And another reason that I think the Call of Duties were so popular back then, and the reason that they were so good, is because Treyarch had to really compete with those original Modern Warfares. I mean, you don't see a lot of that kind of rivalry today between Treyarch and Infinity Ward. I think the reason that the Black Ops games and even World at War, I think the reason that those were so good back in the day was because they had to compete with the Modern Warfare trilogy. But basically, Call of Duty Ghost was the last Call of Duty that I ever played competitively, because once Advanced Warfare came out, I mean, I am not a fan of Sledgehammer or Raven at all. I think they make terrible Call of Duties, especially their most recent attempts at making Call of Duty games. But Advanced Warfare absolutely fucking retired me. I pretty much got out of Call of Duty right around the same time as Nadeshot. So me and Nadeshot both retired because of Advanced Warfare and because it was really so shit. If you guys, you know, if you guys have ever played Advanced Warfare, kudos to you, but that is not my kind of a game. When it came to Call of Duty, I just want to move my chat box a little more to the side there. But really, like back in the day, it wasn't, once Advanced Warfare came out, I really wasn't interested anymore in playing competitively, because I basically told myself, listen, if this is where the future of Call of Duty is headed, then I'm good on the future of Call of Duty. I don't need to be a part of it anymore. And nowadays, I would rather play Battlefield over the latest Call of Duty. That's just me. Um, but Doom 2016 is the last time I ever really played a game competitively. I'm pretty good at Dead by Daylight. I would consider myself a pretty good player at that game, but I would never say that I'm a competitive player at Dead by Daylight. Like I said, Advanced Warfare really retired me. And it's sad because me and my best friend who I used to team with, I still miss teaming with him to this day. I felt like, honestly, we could have got to a point where we did join OpTic. And I also was very interested in Team Envious when it came down to a lot of this competitive kind of Call of Duty League style stuff. There were two teams I always loved watching and always wanted to play for. It was OpTic Gaming and it was Team Envious. Team Envy no longer exists. Years ago, Team Envious became the Dallas Empire, and I'm pretty sure Dallas Empire also doesn't exist anymore because now OpTic is in Texas. They basically are Dallas, Texas. But that's just a little history lesson on that. And honestly, I've been watching OpTic play for so long. When I first got into the competitive scene, one of their best players was Rambo. So OpTic Rambo is essentially today's version of Scumpy. Shout out to OpTic Rambo, shout out Scumpy. But me and my best friend, we were pretty much Scump and Nadeshot when we did duos. I felt like there was nobody who could run maps in BO2 like us. We definitely complemented each other a lot. Black Ops 2 was definitely our game. It's unfortunate that after Ghost, a lot of the momentum kind of faded off and it kind of drifted away, but we both kind of just went in different directions. Me, myself, I wanted to remain on Sony and I wanted to remain on the PlayStation and keep playing on the PlayStation. But my best friend, he was more interested in Xbox and the Microsoft community because a lot more of his friends had Xboxes and they all played Xbox. And I just fucking hated Xbox so much that, it got to a point where we kind of just went in different directions and down separate paths. Um, Again, like I said, I was more interested in playing stuff like Doom 2016, Dead by Daylight, games like that. And he kind of went down the Fortnite, the Fortnite rabbit hole and tried to do good in that, which I compliment him on. I mean, it wasn't like he was a bad player or anything. I don't want to make it sound like that. But for me, Fortnite is not my style of what I prefer to play. So, once he kind of started playing more on Xbox and played games that I just had no interest in, that kind of just did it, right? That was kind of our whole team right there. And it's unfortunate to say that because, like I said, I feel like if both of us kind of stuck as a team and we both were focused on wanting to join OpTic or Team Envious, we definitely could have made it because we were fucking good, man. But with that being said, I do just want to talk about here a little bit of the history of the Call of Duty Championship, okay? Because the first time I ever seen a Call of Duty Championship, it was COD XP 2011. It was for the original Modern Warfare 3, and that was a $400,000 tournament. 400K, ladies and gentlemen. And OpTic ended up winning that tournament. They defeated Infinity, but I'm pretty sure the players didn't split 400K, as divided by like the four players because I'm pretty sure Hex around that time also took a cut of the money and he also put that into things like creating a team house. And like I said, my history on this stuff goes all the way back. I can remember all this stuff like it was almost yesterday. But the first team that I ever seen that had like a team house was basically Team Envious. And I think OpTic basically got the idea from them to start a team house after they won COD XP 2011 for the Modern Warfare 3 tournament. And again, ladies and gentlemen, these aren't just regular fucking tournaments like MLG Orlando or fucking MLG California. These were the actual championships of Call of Duty. So when you won these, you were the top team in the entire Call of Duty division. after COD XP 2011, which was won by OpTic, and again, that was like their first major win. That's like the first time any team has ever won a major title at that level. Again for 400K, and that also pretty much, got Nate Shot into stop working at McDonald's, and he became the Nate Shot that you guys know today. He became the man, the myth, the legend. But I can't assume that each player, because there were four players on a team, I can't assume that they got 100K in their bank account. I would assume 25K at the most, and that's being generous because 25K in 2011 for playing Call of Duty as a pro player, that's pretty fucking unheard of. I mean, that's a substantial amount of money, you know what I mean? So I definitely could see, Nate Shot being happy with 25K and deciding to walk away from his job at McDonald's to pursue playing competitively at that point. Black Ops 2 2013, the champions were Farico Impact. They defeated Team Envious. Ghost 2014, champions were Complexity, defeated Team Envious. Advanced Warfare 2015, the game that fucking retired me and Nate Shot. The champions were Denial, and they defeated Revenge. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, Advanced Warfare was a really weird fucking time for Call of Duty. Um, it was going through its ups and downs around 2015 with Advanced Warfare. No thanks to fucking Sledgehammer or Raven for that. Black Ops 3 2016, the champions were Envious. They defeated Splice. Infinite Warfare 2017, OpTic Gaming won their first championship. That was pretty much the start of the dynasty for OpTic, what is known as the OpTic Dynasty with Formal, Crimsix, Scump, Karma. So in 2017, Infinite Warfare, OpTic did defeat Team Envious. World War II 2018, Evil Geniuses were the champions. They defeated Team Caliber in the finals. Black Ops 4 2019, E United defeated 100 Thieves. So this was pretty much the start of Nadeshot building his own team, 100 Thieves. Black Ops 4 2019 lost to E United in the finals. Modern Warfare 2020, Dallas Empire defeated Atlanta FaZe. Cold War 2021, Atlanta FaZe defeated Toronto Ultra. Vanguard 2022, the LA Thieves were the champions. So that was the first time Nadeshot and his team, 100 Thieves, LA Thieves, they won their first Call of Duty championship in Vanguard 2022. And in Modern Warfare 2 2023, the New York Subliners defeated Toronto Ultra. So just off of what I read there, basically all four of the main names, the like main brands in Call of Duty, won championships at one point or another, right? What I would consider the big four in Call of Duty, OpTic won their championships, Envious won their championships. You had Atlanta FaZe and the LA Thieves. So all of those teams, OpTic, LA Thieves, Envious, FaZe, they all won championships at one point or another in Call of Duty. And that's pretty much what makes them big names today in the Call of Duty League. So what we are going to cover today is the history of OpTic versus FaZe. This is going to be part one. We'll start up the video here on YouTube. And this is, of course, going to go to an advertisement. So after the advertisement, they'll start to play. But yeah, really, ever since COD XP 2011, and like I said, those are not just regular tournaments. Those are the people who actually won championships. So that is the reason why they are big gaming organizations to this day. To this date! But yeah, OpTic, Envious, FaZe, and the LA Thieves have all had their chip at one point or another. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to get into the history.
To change things here this tournament. I mean, I really didn't do anything. I mean, it's kind of.
I do just want to turn it down a little bit because it seemed a little loud.
Columbus, and I mean, I don't want to say anything got boring, but I was just kind of focusing on other things. But I mean, coming to this event, the World Championships coming out, biggest event of the year. Definitely something I want to get my second ring in. I have two more than Nadeshot, but nothing really changed. Just wanted to prove myself this tournament. Well, there you have it already. Some trash talk coming out of Aches.
Rivalries can be created any number of.
Now, right there, it's kind of interesting that they started off with Aches versus Nadeshot. Um, Aches, of course, did play for FaZe at one point. Aches is probably considerably, Nadeshot's biggest rival. Because Scumpy, his biggest rival is Crim6, but before that whole rivalry, we definitely had Aches versus Nadeshot. I did want to do this in like a chronological order, where I was able to do it like, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, because it doesn't really go all the way back to COD 4. From what I've seen, there's no competitive games of OpTic playing in COD 4 on YouTube or anything like that available. But as far as I can tell, it really was like OpTic versus Envious kind of at the start in the pro scene. Again, if you were a sniper, though, it was OpTic versus FaZe. And Scump actually got his start competitively by playing alongside Aches. So that was also another interesting thing. You guys probably will get a chance to see that. But I wanted to start with this video because, again, we're just talking about the history between OpTic and FaZe right now.
Ways, but the ones that rise to the top are unique.
Sorry, George, but we're likely going to win, just like every other time.
They are built by the community and are sustained by the passion of fans on both sides. And while rivalries sometimes feature teams that are vastly divergent, it seems like the greatest ones feature opponents that are more alike than they are different. That, after all, is the story of OpTic Gaming and FaZe Clan. In 2006, Ryan OpTic J Musselman formed a North American Call of Duty 2 clan that went by OpTic Gaming. This early team had the same goals as any FPS clan at the time would, namely proving their excellence against the other players online.
Oh. Can't mess with this natural talent, though.
And you can even see in these clips that they're showing. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is a little bit of a review and a reaction because I am somebody who has been playing Call of Duty. Essentially, I was there throughout its entire height while Call of Duty was in its prime. I experienced every single big title. I believe the first time Treyarch got to work on Call of Duty was Call of Duty 3. And then Infinity Ward wanted to take it in more of like a modern direction. That's what spawned Modern Warfare and that trilogy. I loved World at War and I loved Black Ops. Like I said, I felt like the reason that those games were so popular, I loved Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2. After that, again, I didn't really care for the rest of them. I stopped playing after Call of Duty Ghost, which is, again, another Infinity Ward game. But once Sledgehammer and Raven got involved, I was just like, I'm good on fucking Call of Duty. I don't want to play Sledgehammer and Raven Call of Duty games. I'm okay with the Infinity Ward and the Treyarch stuff. But one thing that I just wanted to add before we get a little bit deeper into this, into these videos, I do want to commend OpTic Hex because I've heard the story where, Hex had to sell the franchise at one point and then he bought it back, which is unbelievable to me because, he probably had to pay a hefty price to get OpTic back, but it's incredible to me that he got it back. I have always kind of studied OpTic Hex and I've always kind of tried to learn from him. If you guys ever see any of my Madden videos or my NHL videos where I basically build teams, I'm playing like Dynasty mode or franchise mode, whatever. I basically build the teams in effort to win a championship. It's another reason why you guys shouldn't simulate Madden or NHL games or anything like that, NBA. Actually fucking play the game because EA has some of the worst simulation I've ever seen in my life. It is highly inaccurate, but that's not the point. In the end, what I'm doing is I'm building teams and I'm seeing if they're championship material. And I've always kind of learned that from OpTic Hex. I've always been impressed by how, over the years, I mean, not even just when, OpTic first started in, God, Modern Warfare 2 era. I mean, I've always been impressed with how Hex has been able to just take OpTic and constantly evolve it with like different players. And now that Scump retired a few years ago, it's really cool to see OpTic still in that championship contention. And that's what I mean. You know, he has always had the ability to just pick certain players and add them to the team. Again, some of that probably comes from the actual pro players' insight on who they are playing against. And that is probably why they help him decide on who should join the team or whatnot. But still, like I said, you know, you go from the humble beginnings of like Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops 1 days to essentially building an entire OpTic dynasty. And then today, they are still in that championship contender, you know, circle. So it's really cool to me. Like I said, shout out OpTic Hex. It's just really cool to me how OpTic Hex has always been able to build championship teams.
Oh, you see that? I don't need no scope.
The team eventually caught the attention of Hector Hex Rodriguez, who had started to feel dissatisfied with his job in the mortgage industry and had purchased an Xbox on a whim as a way to unwind after a long day at work. When he saw how good one of OpTic's members was firsthand, Hex quickly realized that he was part of a clan and followed them around to different online lobbies, beating them constantly. Learning that OpTic competed on a tournament website called Next Gamers, Hex volunteered for the site as a referee and eventually got to know OpTic J. Soon enough,
That's a little shout out to the old men of OpTic. If any of you don't know, some of the OGs in OpTic is Hex, Big Timer, Diesel. Like I said, I would consider Rambo an OG, honestly, because those are the names that those are the names that kind of started it all for OpTic Gaming. Hex, Big Timer, Diesel, and Rambo. Again, I would also place Predator up there in terms of like what he did for the sniping community, because Predator was a savage in MW2. It's unfortunate that Predator still doesn't upload content, or I never honestly knew what happened to him. He probably just went on to have a life and a career and something else. But man, OpTic Predator definitely. If it wasn't for OpTic videos back in the day, I might have never tried to get a capture card and make videos myself, you know, because OpTic inspired me a lot to create montages and to create videos, upload them to YouTube. If it, you know, I had to watch OpTic to kind of learn from them though, because they were the ones, you know, it's like, how are these guys taking their gameplay and just uploading it here to the internet where the whole world can watch it? It was like you had to have a capture card and you had to have editing software and whatnot. So I really learned a lot from them back in the day. It inspired me still. I mean, still, you know, I create videos. And another person who also inspired me, AVGN, James Rolfe, the angry video game nerd, but in a different kind of style, in a different kind of way. But it was really OpTic Gaming, you know, who got me started into a lot of this YouTube content.
Hex was invited to join the clan, and when OpTic J left the game in 2007, Hex would become his replacement. Hex's brother Pedro, better known as OpTic Tumors, would then suggest something that changed the course of OpTic forever. The team should buy a capture card and start uploading their footage to YouTube. Working for insurance company AIG in 2009, Hex was confronted with the possibility of layoffs as the United States government bailed out much of the financial sector in the aftermath of the mortgage crisis.
So there you go. This is pretty much like 2009. And as they're saying, you know, somebody even had to convince Hex. It was, I guess, his brother who convinced him to finally buy a capture card and upload their gameplays to YouTube, which, you know, at the time, guys, that's kind of another reason why I'm making these videos. In 2009, YouTube, and especially the gaming community in YouTube, was just a small fucking sliver of hope, right? It was not as popular as you guys see it today. There were not tournaments or championships to the level that you see today. It was the really fucking, it was really run of the mill shit, you know, like it was really the few of the few and the best of the best. And even just to make it on like an OpTic Gaming or a Team Envious, for me, you had to be still like a top 10% player. You know, you weren't just getting fucking picked up and you know, they would put so much faith into you. Nowadays, guys have like sponsorships and they create content. that was kind of one of the main reasons Hex also started the Optic House, is because he wanted to take all of his players and really, have them make more content and have the ability to put more content on their channel. And that's kind of the reason why I love playing so much with my best friend, because when we both had that same idea of like, we want to play for Optic Gaming, we want to play for Team Envious, he was a person that I could definitely say I would go to war with. Like, if I had to pick teammates, I felt more than comfortable with having him as my partner. You know what I mean? Because if the chips were down, if we needed to show up and practice, if we needed to travel somewhere, anything like that, that was somebody that you could depend on. And that's kind of what the gaming community was back then too, is what I'm saying, is like, you couldn't just put your faith in just anybody. It had to be people that actually wanted to have a career in something like this.
With his wife Judith 7 months pregnant, Hex made a decision that would change the rest of his life. He quit his job to focus on OpTic full-time. OpTic 2 made some changes, and it was once again Tumors who made the suggestion. The clan added a sniper team, becoming what Hex called the first ever legitimate sniper clan. In the process, members would use only bolt-action sniper rifles that couldn't say no to challenges from other players. While OpTic may have inspired other sniper clans, they had one hell of a head start, and Hex aimed to keep the clan ahead of its competition, with the goal of releasing a Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 montage before the game's release. He bought an illegal Xbox and recorded footage of a pirated copy of the game. The resulting video not only helped catapult OpTic into the minds of COD fans, but it has since become a near legendary part of the game's history. In fact, OpTic's popularity as a sniper clan and montage video channel was so widespread that there was some protest from within the clan when Hex decided to restart the team's competitive wing in 2010. But after a disastrous initial outing at Frag Cup 1, the organization went on to assemble a competitive roster that included the likes of Merc, Vengeance, Flawless, and Nadeshot.
Now, I know Nadeshot joined the team a little bit. Nadeshot was kind of like a pickup player when he first started. Again, almost like me, where it was kind of like more of a support role than a captain role. And it's going to be interesting to see how accurate this is, because I've never heard Hex talking about buying an illegal Xbox to upload Call of Duty content or anything like that. But, maybe one day I'll be able to ask him about that. But essentially, like I said, if you were an OpTic and you wanted to play for the sniper team, you had to be a badass with that sniper rifle, right? They were looking for people who had like 30, 40 plus kills, getting quad feeds, multiple shots off of one bullet. But if you wanted to join FaZe, you were probably more of a trick shotter, right? You were probably like setting up your little insertion and your tactical insertion and jumping off of the fucking highest building or whatever obstacle they had on the map and trying to hit one person with your trick shot. That's kind of where FaZe really built their name. Both, again, in the sniper community, but to me, very much two different things, right? OpTic was more about how many kills you could get with a sniper rifle, and then FaZe was just about trick shots.
While OpTic's journey into esports was beginning in earnest, FaZe Clan
But it is definitely accurate that basically right around, I would even say Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 1 is really when they started to play competitively, because in that game, I remember Big Timer saying that he would do a lot of tournaments. But honestly, I would consider Big Timer more a part of the pro team, especially in the Modern Warfare 2 era, over Nadeshot. Like I said, Nadeshot was still very young, and he was still kind of just like a support role.
Just formed.
More of like a pickup player.
In May 2010, and they were already trying new things that would change the perception of what exactly a sniper clan was.
Really, Big Timer and Diesel. Big Timer, Diesel, and Rambo was a lot more of like Call of Duty OpTic than anybody else at that time. They were pretty much the driving force behind like OpTic's whole competitive scene. Big Timer, Rambo, Diesel.
A big part of this was trick shotting, which added things like rapid rotations, weapon switching, and no-scoping to the more familiar quick-scoping videos. FaZe also began a series called Ill Cams, which showcased trick shots performed as part of a round-winning kill, earning the end of the game kill cam. The series is the longest running on FaZe Clan's YouTube channel, with 50 installments so far. Meanwhile, OpTic's esports squad took fourth at MLG Dallas. This event was where the now famous green wall term was coined because, as Hex tells it, the support staff standing in the uniform near the team essentially formed a green wall. But MLG Dallas was also important for FaZe, as they met Hex and received a shout out from him, which they also posted on YouTube.
It's kind of crazy how it's all come full circle now, too, if that is true, where they took like fourth at MLG Dallas. And now OpTic is pretty much based in Dallas. They used to be based in Chicago, Illinois, which is when I was obviously a very big fan of them. I loved them in Chicago. I remember when Hex also created the Chicago Huntsman when he had sold the original OpTic, and then that was, you know, the part where you had like OpTic versus the Huntsman. And then once he bought it back, I think they moved to LA for a little bit of time, but they really settled in Texas, and now they're OpTic Texas, which is pretty much Dallas for them.
YouTube.
What up, guys? Pick up the texture here with my boys from FaZe Sniper. I know you guys are.
I think Hex to this day actually lives in like Frisco, Texas, something like that. Frisco.
OpTic was moving ahead in the still uncertain world of COD esports. Developer support for the esports scene was unclear at this early stage, and the prize pools were not massive. OpTic won $500 for placing fourth at Dallas. Though OpTic's early teams weren't yet dominant, the fans they had built through YouTube continued to support.
Even just placing fourth at a tournament, they would win $500. So essentially, if you split that up between the four players, that's like $100 for each player. Again, not a lot of fucking money if this is what you're trying to do for a career. So if you win $500, four probably goes to your four players, and then Hex would also take 100, right?
On their own channels. In short, while they could coexist, they were essentially fighting over the same digital turf and were competing for a similar demographic on YouTube. But there were also more concrete examples of beef between FaZe and OpTic at the early stage, especially online. OpTic continued to work on improving their esports fortunes, all the while continuing to upload videos to their channel, while OpTic had won MLG Columbus in 2011.
And you can even see like I don't know how accurate these prize pools are, but you know, from what I can see, I mean, at one point in Black Ops, that was essentially when OpTic was really like starting to take off in the pro scene. But like I said, in Modern Warfare 2, it was already established that, you know, OpTic Gaming and Team Envious were the teams to fucking either beat or play for, at least in my opinion. And that was my goal, to either play for OpTic or Team Envious. But even just from these prize pools, you can see some of their earnings in Black Ops 1. $1,000, $2,500, $1,000 again, $700, which is pretty much like a fourth place, kind of fifth place. $400K is the big one that we talked about, and that was in Modern Warfare 3 for the first ever Call of Duty Championship, COD XP 2011. So they definitely were taking home some dough for winning those tournaments.
Their biggest break yet would come at Call of Duty XP 2011. The idea was for Activision to show a new devotion to COD esports, and the event itself was very high profile for its time, as it featured $1 million in prize money and a post-tournament concert by Kanye West.
They had Kanye West at COD XP 2011? Why has nobody else ever fucking talked about this? They had the boy Yeezy at COD XP 2011, the $1 million prize pool. OpTic taking home $400K, getting a Yeezy concert. Again, it's also interesting to me now that I think about it. At this time, OpTic was still based in Chicago, and Kanye West is from Chicago. Just wanted to add that.
COD XP and the $400,000 grand prize helped to raise the team's profile. The rest
Of course, the tournament, COD XP 2011, was not held in Chicago, though, unfortunately. It was actually in Los Angeles, home of Hollywood. So, like I said, they got a nice little Yeezy concert, and also they got to take home $400K. So I'm pretty sure they were happy about that.
2011 and 2012 would see OpTic establish a pattern of strong competitive finishes, as they took first at MLG Orlando 2011, EGL 7, and UMG Chicago 2012.
So right there, they took first MLG Orlando 2011, EGL 7, and UMG Chicago 2012. So OpTic was definitely starting to make a name for themselves in the competitive scene. Again, this is all pretty much like Modern Warfare 3, kind of more going into Black Ops 2 now.
While OpTic were making waves in the competitive scene, FaZe were building a competitive roster of their own, assembling heist, methods, replays, and embos to compete at the MLG Winter Championship 2013. However, that team failed to win a series outside the open bracket, and never...
And because that OpTic was really starting to get their feet running in the competitive scene, that's also what inspired FaZe to create their own competitive roster and start having a pro team of their own. Again, like I said, guys, the four big names to me when it comes to Call of Duty: OpTic Gaming, FaZe Clan, Envious, which unfortunately no longer exists, and also LA Thieves, the 100 Thieves. That's the big four when it comes to this Call of Duty shit. But it seems like FaZe had always kind of been inspired from what I'm taking from this video, not only in terms of sniping, but also when it came down to the competitive aspect of it.
Played against OpTic, who placed 6th at the event. It also meant that FaZe was left out of the Call of Duty Championship 2013, while OpTic went on to place 3rd. The two teams would meet again at MLG Anaheim 2013.
OpTic versus FaZe, the biggest game you can imagine. I can't wait to see the Twitter poll. It is going to explode. They both have huge individual fan bases.
And again, OpTic would go on to best FaZe.
Right here. He's gonna be inside of the statue. He gets one kill. Wait for someone on the right side. There we go. It's not impossible. On to the next round.
Huge play right there at the very end. Coming from the...
And we are going to go and we are going to look at some of the gameplays where they are playing competitively at the actual location and they're actually going against each other. I do have videos set up in the playlist already that we can watch. I just wanted to start with this video because this seems like a good introduction for what we're talking about.
They shot once again on a 5 streak. Unbelievable breaking of points there from OpTic Gaming. FaZe were in complete control, and out of nowhere, OpTic, they just went huge.
Round of applause for Nate.
Right now, this is OpTic versus FaZe in Black Ops 2. And every time I see Black Ops 2, it just brings back so many good memories.
Organizations clashed at a major event was UMG Philadelphia 2014. FaZe's roster consisted of replays, classic, JCap, and methods, and they were set to face off against OpTic's lineup of Nadeshot, Big Timer, Scump, and Ricky. Big Timer had already announced he would retire after the event, but the series still went a full and thrilling 5 games.
One player left alive. 3 seconds left. Ricky can't do it. And FaZe will have taken the W. And what an amazing game from both teams.
So it seems like in Call of Duty Ghosts, that was when Big Timer decided to retire. And like I said, that was the last time that I ever enjoyed playing Call of Duty. That was the last time I ever played competitively as well. The next year, once they came out with Advanced Warfare, I was fucking done. Nadeshot was fucking done. Advanced Warfare was a bad time for Call of Duty fans, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, holy moly. It all comes down to it. You just gotta do what you gotta do.
Wow. Oh my God.
We're getting a little bit of an advertisement here. But it's really cool to just go back and see some of these gameplays where they're playing in like Black Ops 2 and Call of Duty Ghosts, because again, like I said, that's the whole reason I'm doing this series, is to just kind of go back down memory lane and to just kind of revisit some of those.
FaZe.
What a game.
Ends up taking it in a nail-biting matchup here.
I just like to say. Hold it.
It was one of FaZe's first big wins against OpTic.
During that matchup, we actually started off pretty slow. We were down 0-2.
It wasn't looking good, but we were able to bring it back and actually won the series 3-2.
But they only managed to place top 8 at the event, which was outside the money. In terms of overall success, though, OpTic had great placements in late 2012 and most of 2013 under their belts. Heading into 2014, FaZe were still trying to find their stride. They did eventually start to find it as they brought on Proofy, and at the COD Championships 2014 US Regionals, the team went further in the bracket than OpTic, but both squads qualified for the main events. When the chips were down, OpTic went further than FaZe, earning third place and the accompanying $120,000 prize, while FaZe had to settle for sixth place.
Now, this video did come out 6 years ago, the one that we're watching here on YouTube. So it's probably not going to talk about more of the recent stuff that has happened between these teams, but it is interesting to see them go all the way back to the beginning of when they were just casually sniping online and uploading those kind of videos, and then to really dig deep into the competitive aspect of it, because again, FaZe made it kind of like their mission to really prove that they could stand toe-to-toe with OpTic on a competitive level.
While FaZe were not dominant during this period, they were starting to earn more consistent results, which meant that the two teams would have more opportunities to clash. OpTic, too, were not considered to be a top-tier squad, but both teams had some victories as 2014 unfolded. FaZe won COD League Season 1's regular season, while OpTic won gold at the X Games.
Make a plan here, and he knows that too. Blazer and Kujar look like they might meet up here in a second.
Blaze got the better weaponry as well. This bulldog up close could be devastating. Kujar
Right here in this video, Proofy, Clayster, Nadeshot, and Scump on the team for OpTic right now. I think later on they got rid of Proofy and they actually ended up adding Crimsix. Could be wrong about that. But I do remember at some point there was like major roster changes for OpTic around the Call of Duty Ghost season.
He can't plant now. He doesn't have enough time to plant. So he's got to get the kill. Kujar's got to find Clayster. Clayster's going to look. And he gets the kill. And OpTic.
And this is also pretty much like the times when OpTic even won their first like X Games.
Gaming wins it. OpTic Gaming, your X Games gold medal champion.
So there you go. That was the roster that they won their first X Games medal with. Proofy, Clayster, Scump, and Nadeshot. Like I said, me and my best friend, we were pretty much Scump and Nadeshot ourselves when we would run duos together. And, you know, it's unfortunate, like I said, that after Ghost, our momentum had kind of died off. As I said, I just was not interested in playing Advanced Warfare at all, or the fucking future of Call of Duty for that matter. And then, you know, once I kind of went down a different road, my best friend also went down a different road. But honestly, I would compare us the most during these times to Scump and Nadeshot. Again, it was our goal to just play for either OpTic or Envious, mainly OpTic because we loved Scump and Nadeshot so much. And it just sucks that we both kind of went down different directions and we were both interested in different games. Again, like I said, the last time that I had ever played something competitively, Doom 2016, held down about a 5+ KD. Nobody ever picked me up. Nobody ever wanted the team. And then my best friend, he pretty much got into the Fortnite stuff, and I am not a Fortnite guy.
It's made all the sweeter by the fact that OpTic's Nadeshot was finally able to triumph over Aches.
Because that was the biggest rivalry for us, dude. Aches always kicked OpTic's ass for whatever reason. He just always beat us, and we finally took him down.
FaZe would add their...
And it's also funny to hear Nadeshot talking about his longtime rival Aches. You can hear him say, you know, Aches had always kind of got the upper hand over OpTic for so long. But finally, X Games, Call of Duty Ghost, OpTic finally beat Aches, and that was a big one for them.
First major event victory at UMG Nashville 2014, where they reset the bracket from losers and took both series 3-2.
Apathy taken out as well. Karma trying to get on the rotation. He has Sensor in front of his Sensor, takes out Saints, and it was all up to replays and a 2-on-1.
The Blazer right in front right here. They're playing this trade perfectly, and sure enough, the double team.
FaZe takes UMG. FaZe is your UMG Nashville Elgato 25K champions.
Suddenly, the possibility of OpTic and FaZe fighting at the highest levels seemed plausible. While Aches had been vanquished at the X Games, he would return to haunt OpTic at the end of 2014. As Advanced Warfare released and MLG Columbus 2014 got underway, this time, instead of Complexity or Evil Geniuses, it was on FaZe.
We decided to add Aches to our team, so it's me, Apathy, and Aches looking for one. And I know it sounds absolutely crazy. It's something that a lot of people didn't expect.
At Columbus, the rivalry took another step forward. Not only did the two teams play each other in the grand finals, but Aches brought his pre-existing enmity with not only OpTic, but Nadeshot, and Crimsix in particular, into the story of OpTic and FaZe.
We're gonna win 3-0. Ooh, winning it 3-0. Ace, back to you. What are you gonna think? 5-0?
Picking up to some support. That was a huge play. The slasher has gone down. That's Nadeshot with a kill. 3 versus 3. Travis digging. Oh, Sensor! He just gonna come up.
But even in Advanced Warfare, a game that me and Nadeshot absolutely fucking hated, basically retired us from Call of Duty. The rivalry between OpTic and FaZe was also at its height around this time, okay? And I also just wanted to say, I think it's interesting how FaZe has always been able to pick up people who have kind of given OpTic a little bit of a problem over the years. Like, they had Aches on their team. I think they just recently picked up Crimsix, but I know that Crimsix is retired now as well, because he's also, you know, dealing with some health problems. He's basically become like a professional race car driver, but this isn't really about Crimsix. Crimsix has his own rivalry with Scumpy, and we'll talk about that later when we get into the rest of these videos for another day. But really, Aches and Nadeshot had their rivalry, and Scumpy and Crimsix had their own rivalry. But like I said, it's always been interesting to me how FaZe has always been able to find and pick up those certain players who have kind of given OpTic Gaming troubles over the years.
Unbelievable play. Valley's Nadeshot. 1-on-3. He's going to get the kill though. 29 seconds left. Bomb down. Can he stay alive? Nadeshot now. FaZe won the championship. Sensor, an unbelievable play.
Not only did FaZe beat OpTic, but coming from losers bracket meant that they had to reset the bracket and win 2 best-of-5s to do it. While it's easy to view this as a big win for FaZe, it was also the first time that the two organizations would meet in the grand finals of an event of this magnitude. That did a lot to legitimize the rivalry in a competitive scene. OpTic may have had to settle for second at the beginning of Advanced Warfare, but they fielded one of their most dominant rosters during the rest of the year. At MLG Pro League Season 1, they won both the season and the playoffs. They then won the NA Regional Finals for the COD 2015's champs, but failed to win the event proper, going out at 7th place. After Nadeshot stepped down, using Enable as a sub, and then adding Karma, they continued their dominance.
So there you go. They just talked about how Nadeshot had finally retired after Advanced Warfare. And it was, you know, it was a tough time for OpTic during this period because, again, Aches was still kind of giving them problems in the competitive scene. And now they had kind of just had to prove themselves against FaZe again. But really, once they come back, I mean, once they built up the team of Karma, Formal, Scumpy, Crimsix, I mean, that's what's known as the OpTic Dynasty, and that team was unbeatable for a while, especially, I think it was Infinite Warfare. I think it was Infinite Warfare where they were just the fucking most dominant team in the game, so they definitely built a dynasty, you know, after suffering a lot of these losses.
JCat before him, Enable would cross the lines of battle, joining FaZe after his short stint as a sub with OpTic. If fans of both teams weren't aware of the rivalry before 2015, that was the year it truly came into its own. For most of the year, OpTic appeared unbeatable, but when they did lose, the only team that seemed to be able to best them at the majors was FaZe. It was almost like the tension between the two organizations and their fan bases brought out the best in FaZe. At UMG Dallas 2015, FaZe won a thrilling Grand Finals series against OpTic, and that win was made all the more satisfied by FaZe's addition of Clayster, who had previously been a member of OpTic Gaming.
Just pick it up. Play from 15, it will be GG. There's only 15 seconds left in, and OpTic needs to go for 2-point plays. Formal's gonna die, and that looks as if it's gonna be that common last man out. FaZe are gonna take the UFG Dallas Grand Final 3-0.
Then, less than a month later, they did it to OpTic again at the Gfinity Summer Championship.
Zuma and Attach. It's a 2v1 actually, Bryce.
So even with the Dynasty team in Advanced Warfare of Crimsix, Scumpy, they had Formal, Karma, even with that Dynasty team, the only other team that was really giving them problems was FaZe in Advanced Warfare.
It's going to be Carl last on that's it. And that is it. FaZe is going to win your summer 100K championship for Gfinity.
OpTic were no strangers to rivalries. They had the E-Clasico with Team Envious, and Complexity and later Evil Geniuses had proved...
So we also will discuss a lot of the other rivalries, you know, besides OpTic versus FaZe. I do want to talk about how they basically had to get past Farico. They had to get past Farico, Complexity, which then became Evil Geniuses. Both Complexity and Evil Geniuses, I believe Aches also played for. We will dig deep into the Envy rivalry. I think that's going to be the next video where we discuss more of OpTic versus Team Envious, because again, those were my two favorite teams growing up, OpTic and Envy. And then later on, you know, as well, we will look at Chicago Huntsmen, we'll look at the Dallas Empire, and we'll also look at a little bit of a friendly rivalry between 100 Thieves and OpTic.
To be hard-fought opponents for much of the team's history. But by September 2015, it was clear that despite all that, the rivalry with FaZe was something special. Attach, a member of the competitive roster at the time, called it the new rivalry, and it ended up spilling into the team's online games as well.
As I was saying, FaZe and OpTic are two of the top teams in competitive Call of Duty right now. This has not really happened before. FaZe and OpTic have not always been like the best or considered the best at the same time in a real game. In this game, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, it's coming back and forth.
Almost as soon as Attach had pointed out the rivalry's growing impact, FaZe struck again, this time beating OpTic in the COD Pro League Season 3 playoffs.
It's interesting to me how Attach makes that statement of how the two best teams in Advanced Warfare were considered either to be OpTic or FaZe, but at the championship, Denial ended up winning the entire thing, and they defeated Team Revenge. Like I said, guys, Advanced Warfare is a little bit of a rough time for Call of Duty. It's a strange time indeed, and it retired me and Nate Shot from the entire fucking competitive scene, so... But I still love watching the pros play. I think it's always like a little piece of me inside that always wants to, like, you know, still watch the game competitively. Right now, they have Call of Duty Champs going on for Modern Warfare 3, the current one. So that's also kind of why I wanted to do this series. It ties in a little bit to COD Champs Week going on right now.
39 seconds remaining. Clem is going to get finished. FaZe will take your Season 3 championship.
Again, it was from loser's bracket, and again, they reset to win both Best of 7 series 4-1. OpTic would get the last laugh in Advanced Warfare, as they took the MLG World Finals.
Stun, hitting Formal. Formal, of course, to back up. Karma trying to back him up here with the sniper, but not the angle he wanted. Grim, 10 kills already. Is he going to find number 11? Big kill comes in from Karma. It's essentially a 1v3 for 10. Tournament life on the line, and he goes down. OpTic Gaming has done it again, Ben.
The release of Black Ops 3 and the rise of the Call of Duty World League meant a more structured year for COD esports. But FaZe started to lag behind OpTic, and there were fewer opportunities for them to play spoiler as a result. OpTic had another impressive year, winning both the Stage 1 regular season and playoffs. Crown Melbourne Invitational, ESWC 2016, and MLG Opens at both Anaheim and Orlando. While the rivalry still raged on in the hearts of both teams' fans, it did not grace the stage as often as both sides may have wanted. But the seeds had already been sown in another first-person shooter, Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Both teams had entered the game in January 2016. FaZe had purchased a CSGO roster from G2 Esports, considered to be one of the game's best at that time. And rather than buying...
So, of course, you know, with the rivalry that OpTic and FaZe do have together, they have crossed paths in other games as well, playing competitively.
Was pretty much to go against the OpTic culture. I was going to have to acquire a team from Europe and have little to no contact with them.
Though both games are first-person shooters, the fan bases of Call of Duty and CSGO did not always overlap. And the two...
When we talk about OpTic versus Team Envy, you can also see that they played each other in Gears of War at a major tournament. And if you look at who the best teams were in Gears of War 4 at that time, it was OpTic and it was Team Envious. So that is also something to take note of as well. They've, OpTic and FaZe have crossed paths many times, not only in just the Call of Duty community, but in other games as well.
Two esports had developed in very different ways. The two teams did not have many high-profile meetings until late in the year, first facing off in the semifinals at the E-League Season 2 finals.
A single kill away from that grand finals.
And now he has no idea where they're playing from either. Although the pre-fire to this one, unbelievable. Not gonna get it, Kerrigan. It was so close. But Nafly will do it. He gets the final kill.
After that meeting, Hex told OpTic that if they went up against FaZe at ECS Season 2 and won, he would chip in his share of the winnings, which the team actually did. Late 2016 saw the rivalry flare up again, and it was a familiar situation. The first major event of a new game, Infinite Warfare, saw a classic FaZe OpTic matchup in the losers bracket at the CWL Las Vegas Open. Neither team went on to win the entire tournament, but in a heart-pounding series, FaZe once again played spoiler.
This rivalry makes me happy to be an American.
FaZe may have won some of the battles, but OpTic won the war. They would go on to defeat FaZe at the Call of Duty World Championship, winning $600,000.
So right there, you heard him say it. FaZe may have won some of the battles, but OpTic won the war. Okay? And they also took home $600K after they beat him in the championship.
The single biggest prize in the organization's history in the process.
You are going all in here on uplink. You are trying to get the one-point play, then get back for the camo play.
OpTic Gaming, our top 3 and in the championship Sunday.
The rivalry has continued outside of the game as well. Both organizations have continued to produce YouTube content, much of it with no esports focus at all. But the lines drawn between the two fan bases have put some former esports pros in awkward positions.
But you guys gotta understand this. Me, Matthew Haig, as a person, I'm friends with the guys in FaZe Clan. I'm not friends with Rain. I'm not friends with Temper. I'm not friends with Blaziken or Tico. I'm friends with them as people, as Norden, as Tommy, as Lucas, and Jacob. Like, I'm friends with them just as individuals.
Nadeshot, formerly part of one of OpTic's most successful rosters, caught flack from his own fanbase for making videos about hanging out with members of FaZe. Though he wasn't...
Now, this is something that I've always tried to explain to people too. Just outside of being a competitive player, when you really do get your feet wet in that kind of division, when you really do start to get a little bit of a feel of how it is to actually be a competitive player in the Call of Duty League, a lot of those guys are friends. A lot of those guys play together. They team with each other outside of just, doing battles against each other. They have each other on friends list on their PlayStation or their Xbox, and they'll lobby up together and go fucking dominate a pub. They'll dominate a regular lobby just playing as friends, and that's what a lot of people got to understand too. Even though there are certain rivalries, at the end of the day, a lot of these teams, a lot of these guys, they practice together and they play together, they communicate with each other. And that's why they also have a lot of ties into kind of joining different organizations as well. Because like I said, once you're in, you're kind of in. And that's kind of how it works. If you basically were friends with Nadeshot, you had a pretty good chance of taking your career a little bit further in the Call of Duty League.
Surprised that some fans were unhappy with it, the scale and severity of the backlash did.
It was pretty mind-blowing to me how many people were upset that I was hanging out with people from FaZe Clan.
Now, it's interesting that they're talking about a lot of the backlash that Nadeshot gets for hanging out with people from FaZe, but there was a specific time when Scumpy also was thinking about leaving OpTic. He actually left OpTic for, I think, 24 hours. Like, it was just a day where he left OpTic and he did join Team Envious So Scumpy was on Team Envious, I think, for like a day or maybe even 2 days. It didn't last for long because Hex never wanted Scumpy to leave. Um, they managed to get Scumpy back on OpTic, and for me, Scumpy has always been loyal to OpTic. But a lot of the thing that people say is Scumpy and Nate Shot, they just couldn't work together anymore. They didn't want to team together anymore, and it was either Nate Shot leaves or Scumpy leaves, and Scumpy decided to join Team Envious for a little bit, but it eventually came down to Advanced Warfare, like I said, one of the worst Call of Duties, and it fucking retired Nate Shot completely, also retired your boy. But that's pretty much what it came down to. Nate Shot retired, and Scumpy was still able to play for OpTic Gaming.
But I understand where they're coming from. I mean, like it'd be like me, or it'd be like a Cavs fan wearing a Warriors jersey at Oracle Arena watching them play. I understand it, but maybe people were taking it a little too far, dude. They're especially leaving too many dislikes on my videos. That kind of hurt me.
Like most things in esports, the future of the rivalry is uncertain. OpTic has since expanded to both League of Legends and Overwatch, earning a spot in both games' franchise leagues. They've also picked up a Dota 2 roster. On the flip side, FaZe has an Overwatch team, but was not part of the initial 12 Overwatch League teams. No doubt, COD fans will keep the spirit of this storied rivalry alive, and CS fans could eventually embrace it. Whether it is something that can spread to other esports is still up in the air. In a way, the OpTic FaZe rivalry mirrors their origin on YouTube. As OpTic got out to a head start, FaZe was there, pushing hard for the same audience. Both FaZe and OpTic started their esports journeys with established fan bases. Instead of adding them solely through winning, they were built on the raw but harnessed passion of their respective supporters. That passion fostered something that, once both teams formed competitive rosters, was unlike anything in esports. And despite OpTic's golden age in 2015 and 2016, FaZe was always there to keep them honest, and occasionally take the W away.
FaZe now! FaZe win the championship! Senza, an unbelievable play!
One big comeback. FaZe had to do it twice. 2 best of 5s.
Whether you're part of the Green Wall or you FaZe up, the rivalry taught us that the most loyal fans you can have are the ones who were with you even before you started winning. When YouTube brought millions of console gamers together in the pursuit of the sickest montage and the craziest no-scope.
And that is the end of this video, ladies and gentlemen. Not our video, but that video that we were watching. I really could appreciate how they also included in there that both of the fan bases of OpTic and FaZe were not built up on them winning. At least for me as well at the start, like I said, me and my best friend, we had nothing but the intention to basically play for OpTic Gaming. Me as well, Team Envious, but we loved OpTic Gaming for the reasons that we love them as gamers. Okay, we love them because of the passion that we have for it. Like I said, if it wasn't for OpTic and them creating content, basically with Scumpy and Nate Shot and Scumpy was like me and my best friend in Black Ops 2 and COD Ghost. They were part of the reason why I even got into creating content here on YouTube in the first place. So a lot of that, again, goes back to the passion and the loyalty for that. I'm Green Wall all the way, baby. There's no more Team Envious anymore. It's unfortunate what happened to Team Envious. They basically became Dallas Empire, and I don't even think there's a Dallas Empire anymore because now essentially OpTic is located in Texas, and I think they're even in Dallas. But that is going to do it for the first part of this video. What I want to do next is just showcase a little bit of the gameplays between the two teams, OpTic and FaZe. We'll watch a couple gameplays and then we'll end it on that. But man, what a rivalry between these two teams. Let's see here if I can find some of my FaZe versus OpTic. Yeah, here's one. That's a Scumpy video. I don't really necessarily want to play videos directly from Scump or anybody because it's like we don't want YouTube getting a little upset about that. I do have him saved in this playlist though. But Again, I'm not trying to steal anybody's content. I'm just trying to show a little bit of our love for Call of Duty here. Okay, we'll start with these ones. It looks like these ones won't be too long, like 15 minutes, 13, 15, 15. And then there's also another one where they're playing Ghosts, so we might watch those ones for the next part of this video. And then after that, we'll end it there. That's just an advertisement. But thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with me on this video, for tuning in, anybody watching at home. Hope you guys are enjoying a little bit of a history lesson between these two classic rivals in Call of Duty. Again, you were either Green Wall or you would FaZe up. Me, I'm still Green Wall, baby. Okay, guys, it looks like this video is going to start up very soon. So what I'm going to do is just take a little bit of a 1.5, 2-minute break here. Step outside of the room for a second. And when we come back, we're going to watch some gameplay between OpTic versus FaZe. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have returned. Once upon a time, a very long time ago in Call of Duty, your boy either wanted to play for OpTic Gaming or Team Envious. It's unfortunate that Advanced Warfare sucked, and I had no interest in continue to play it. After that, me and my best friend, we essentially went down different paths, like I said. I started to play more things like Doom 2016, Dead by Daylight, and my friend, he basically went the Xbox and the Fortnite direction. I wish you nothing but the best, buddy. I still miss teaming with you. I still miss playing Call of Duty with you. It's memories that I have to this day. And like I said, he was somebody that I basically could go to war with. And I could depend on, hey, this person is going to be somebody that we can actually play competitive with. If you're out there watching, you know who you are. And I hope one day our paths cross again in another game that we enjoy playing together. But until then, my friend, we're just going to be watching some highlights from memory lane.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome.
I do want to skip past the commentary a little bit just because I feel like that's kind of unnecessary at this point. We'll just get right into the good stuff.
Of this tournament, OpTic's company.
Oh, look at this. Beautiful Black Ops 2 gameplay as well.
He is going to be off the break here, already meeting some certain resistance. And you can see
So right here in this gameplay, Team FaZe was Heist, Embos, Methods, Replays, OpTic had Big Timer, Merc, Nadeshot, and Scumpy. Again, me and my best friend, we were pretty much like Nadeshot and Scumpy ourselves. But it is great to go back and view some of these like classic clips because this has been out for 11 years now. I don't think people are going back and watching it themselves. So that's why it's kind of cool for me just to share it with you guys as well and just express some of my history behind the competitive scene and why I also don't play it anymore. But watching a lot of these classic Call of Duties like Black Ops 2 and especially Ghost, it just brings back a lot of those good memories.
way inside of the first hard point. I guess I am a little bit curious as to what their approach is going to be here off the break, because from the way I see it,
But Black Ops 2 was our fucking game, man. Like I said, we ran those maps like the only thing I could compare us to, honestly, is Scumpy and Nadeshot. But that was our fucking game. Black Ops 1, like I said, I was kind of more of like a pickup player, more of a support role. Modern Warfare 3, I really started to catch fire. And this is original Modern Warfare 3, not the bullshit remakes that they have nowadays. The original trilogy for Modern Warfare. And then, once Black Ops 2 came around, I was, really fucking set on either playing for OpTic or playing for Envious. And I know my best friend was too. We both just loved OpTic gaming so much. Once Call of Duty Ghost came around, I feel like around Ghost, that's when I kind of developed more of my tendencies as like a captain, kind of like a leader role. That's also when I started to get interested in like even creating my own team because, it was just like, hey, if we never make it, maybe we could even start our own kind of team kind of thing. So.
Yeah, OpTic looking really good here off the break. FaZe had that warm-up. I shouldn't say warm-up, but they had the chance to get... Yeah, exactly.
Like I said, I explained the whole reason that I created my name here on YouTube, Phenomena, is from my music. And then Legend Killers was pretty much the team that I was going to create. So, inspired a lot from WWE's Randy Orton. But also, it all goes back to these days of like Black Ops 2 and Call of Duty Ghost because that's when I really felt like we had something special going.
That was not going to happen. Let's go ahead and hop on board with FaZe now, as they are going to be the ones holding down this hard point, expecting a lot of resistance coming from the alley.
And those have been holding this hard point down the entire time, has 3 kills to his name as well. Those 3 kills have all been on this hard point. One helpful missile, using Merc out the window, picks him up 1 kill away from getting...
Might have to turn it up a little bit because they're getting crazy. We're cutting the grass outside.
He is going to pick up that kill. That gives him his helpful missile. A kill away from the lightning strike and the sentry. Again, 5 kills to his name at this point. And FaZe, for the first time in this game, has the lead.
Yep, and it's crazy because they lost a couple of points there in the beginning, which just goes to show you that you can give up some points in the beginning of the game there. It's not going to ruin you. So long as you're not giving up like a full 55 seconds or something like that. It was pretty low, and if you think, this isn't really working out, get your bearings together, rotate over to the next one, make that happen. Embos is actually on a tear right now, but unfortunately, he was going to get stopped by Big Timer. Let's go ahead and see what's going on with Big T, as he's going to hold a very crucial position, and he knows this, and so does FaZe. That's where they're going to try and take him out. Big T managing to avoid death on that one. Good play by him.
Stay alive, make sure that doesn't take him down. But OpTic just so good at holding down this hardpoint. Every time I've seen them play hardpoint on standoff, which is something interesting I want to mention as well. The map set, the veto system, the first 3 maps.
I also do just want to explain real quick. Big Timer is still playing competitively at this point, so I would say Big Timer was the captain for OpTic around this period. Merc was a little bit more of an OBG player. He could kind of switch between a sub and an AR, but he was more focused on like AR play because when you're an OBJ player, you know, you kind of have to hold down certain points of the map, and an assault rifle is usually better for that. Nade Shot also probably running an AR as well, but considering that Merc is an OBJ, Scumpy and Nade Shot were really more of your sub slayers.
All stand up. This is something that we saw often do early on in the weekend, and it paid dividends for them. But meanwhile, Big T with the 2-3s on the half point connects with both kills, just finally go down, but managed to get that 5-kill streak. Didn't get any streaks from it, but that's very, very good play from OpTic.
Yep, and we're going to go ahead and hop on board Nade Shot here. Finding one player inside of the grandma's house. He's going to get picked off. Methods with a 2-piece there. So that's going to look pretty good for them. Scuffy with the early control inside of the hard point as it rotates over to the original hill. See if Nade Shot can do something here, but never mind. High Swift to stop. And this is just such a back and forth affair between these two teams. 103 to 87 as FaZe is trying to find their way back into this matchup.
Right now, Merc, he is just doing a fantastic job of angry. Meanwhile, Nade Shot, he's actually on that hill. But Merc actually accidentally taking down his teammate. That is going to gift FaZe control of that half point. So small mistakes can cost you, and that's going to cost them a lot of time. FaZe may actually get back in control, but it's not going to happen. Nade Shot does not want to allow that. He's got himself a nice 2 kills towards that halfway. Meanwhile, replays for FaZe. He just took down Merc. That was OpTic Gaming's anchor.
Yeah, they really needed him to stay alive there, and as you can see, he's spawned on the other side of the map. That's going to hurt them as they make their advancement toward 3. They have about 11 seconds left on this hard point here, and Replays really needs to get this kill. He does manage to do so, so he gets a double with that nade as well as his M8, but he is not able to clean up the triple. As you can see,
Also, to me, what kind of made you kind of like a make or break player back in the day for Call of Duty, I would always try to focus myself under pressure, because playing in front of a live audience is completely different than actually playing at home on your console or whatever. You actually had to focus under pressure in a lot of these tournaments. So when you hear the crowd either cheering for you or booing you, I mean, it works the exact same way in a sports stadium nowadays, right? If that crowd is against you, you're going to feel it. And if they're cheering for you, you're going to get energy from that. But having the ability to actually focus under pressure is really important for a lot of these pro players. You really had to have the ability to not only play good on console, but also show the fuck up when it mattered at a live event.
That was not the case. Instead, they opted to go from Tank's side over to Tractor and try and get blue that way. I think that's very interesting. Most teams don't do that, and I wonder if this approach is going to work out for them.
Well, right now, OpTic do have a very fragile lead. 169 to 112. It's going to be FaZe on that half point first of all. Embers with 2 kills. Can he make it 3? No, he can't. Big T shuts him out. Nice play there from Big T. Methods. He's on that half point for FaZe.
Right now, OpTic leading. This is a hard point match that they're playing in Black Ops 2. It's OpTic with 169 points. Right now, FaZe is on 128 plus. So right now, FaZe in control of the hard point here. Trying to fight back. But with 3 minutes left on the clock, not a lot of game left. OpTic is in the lead here.
I like the fact that these players are opting to get, notice that this is a slugfest. Just battle it out, right? Don't just hang back and rely on streaks to win you this game. They're going to rely on.
It's also really interesting looking back on it how Hardpoint really started in Black Ops 2, and now it's kind of like accumulated itself a lot more in like modern day Call of Duty. But it's so crazy to think how it started in Black Ops 2 and it's come so far.
Jumps in. He gets it done by Methods, but he goes Scumpy. He's going to get that kill. And now control goes back to OpTic Gaming. Right now, Scumpy 19 to 16. Having a very, very decent game compared to 7 Methods. 23 and 20. He's just going in on that hill. Picks up 1. Does go down, though. For a minute there, that could have been a montage.
They're really trading back and forth with a lot of their kills here between FaZe and OpTic as well in this gameplay.
Picking up a couple of those tag names as Frank. And now, as you can see, OpTic, Nade Shot, and Trent are doing what they can to close this one out. They're within a couple of points here, about maybe the next hill, maybe 2 hills, who knows. But they're certainly looking to end this one as quickly as possible. You cannot let FaZe get back to this.
Well, Embers is trying to set up on that next hill. He has just taken down Scumpy. With 2 seconds left, and it's going to rotate anytime now. It's going to be 219 to 154 getting into this whole phase with the early control. Nature, meanwhile, he's going to try and clear up around the outside. Replays, he's going to get shut down from Scumpy. And it's still faced with the control. What can Method do on the hill? Shuts down one. Immediately taken down, though. Nature with a 3-kill streak at the moment. Make that 5! Nature going big on that hill.
They tried on a 5-kill streak in this gameplay.
But you know, as though you had mentioned, we spoke about score streaks before, right? And how, you know, you just got to let it happen naturally. That's exactly what happened for Nate Shot. He's now fully streaked out. He's going to throw that like
Nate Shot throwing out his streaks here.
when it is absolutely necessary. OpTic Gaming is looking to shut this one out right here, right now, as it is entering that mathematically impossible territory. They're within earshot distance of winning this. Here comes the Hellstorm. OpTic Gaming taking game number 1 against a very hot FaZe coming out of that BBB matchup. Did not expect this, Benson. Let's take a look at the stats.
Fantastic game there from OpTic Gaming in the crowd.
So there you go. OpTic Gaming took game 1 in Black Ops 2. And it looks like this was MLG Anaheim 2013. So if anybody wants to go back and watch the MLG Anaheim series, that is what this gameplay is from.
But look at that scoreboard.
Nate Shot going off with 30 kills. Merc 33 and 19, crazy. Scumpy 24, Big Timer 16 kills.
20, top of the.
So definitely big kills there for OpTic. We'll watch one more gameplay, guys, because I know it's getting a little crazy. I know it's getting a little crazy on time here. We don't want too long of a video, but I did just want to go over a lot of the history between these two teams. We'll check out the next one. We will go to Call of Duty Ghost. How about that? So we'll watch Call of Duty Ghost, OpTic versus FaZe. This will be the last gameplay that we watch.
Loose before their matchup. They got a big one
Loose
against
or loose?
OpTic Gaming.
Loose. Yeah, it is. No, I think it's the best thing you actually can do when going into a match. I mean, you don't want to freak out or take things too far. So cracking some jokes, keeping it light is the best way to do it, no doubt about it. So
we will skip ahead into the actual gameplay here. Looks like they're going over some of the players right now, which we will actually highlight as well.
OpTic Gaming. And kicking off the lineup is Nate Shot here. He's from Chicago. He's been around since he was a young.
So right here, they pretty much, in Call of Duty Ghost, this is Nate Shot from Chicago. His role on the team was support and OBJ. Competitive since Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare.
In the Call of Duty 4 scene, he's going to play more of that support objective role. But again, MLG National Championship in 2009 was his first tournament.
Clayster on the team from Winchester. AR and a Slayer for Clayster on his role.
Next is Clayster here. He's been around too for a while since Modern Warfare 2. He's seen a lot of success on the circuit.
Clayster competing since Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Everyone knows he's a very dominant AR Slayer. Scumpy.
So Clayster and AR Slayer for OpTic Gaming here. But then we go to Scumpy from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Also, Scumpy's dad is a professional baseball player, for anybody who didn't know. But Clayster and AR Slayer and Scumpy and SMG Slayer, more of that sub player.
Ninja known for his slaying power.
And Scumpy has also been competing since Call of Duty Black Ops 1.
This guy is near the top of almost every leaderboard when it comes to kills to death. He is constantly in your face, brings that aggression, and he is joined by
Proofy from Detroit, Michigan. His role for OpTic Gaming at this time was an AR Slayer, so again, another assault rifle slayer. Him and Clayster working the AR. Nate Shot, more of a support objective at this point, and then Scumpy, again, that sub SMG Slayer.
Proofy, they needed more
and Proofy been competing since Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare 1.
Playing power on this team. They went after Proofy, brought him over from FaZe right as he rejoins the OpTic Gaming organization. He's been around since Modern Warfare. The guy is a legend and a young one at that, just 21 years old. But Proofy,
yeah,
I love that addition to this line.
Oh, dude, it was a great pickup. I think it was a smart move by Hex and the rest of the OpTic squad to add Proofy to the lineup. They spun off Nation, still keeping Embos around, and I think that was good moves for everyone involved. And yeah, man, I mean, I remember Proofy when we were casting the 2009 National Championship. He was there with his brother, and gosh, it was 5 years ago. I mean, he was like 15, 16 years old at that event. So all of them have come a long way. It's cool to see them, and here they are trying to battle it out for a gold medal, man.
Well, obviously, OpTic Gaming are going to be the fan favorites here in the venue, but they have some fierce competitors on the other side of this main stage. Let's take a look at FaZe Red.
Who was playing for
And
FaZe
kicking
Red?
off the lineup is J-Cap, the man himself. Certainly a funny character.
J-Cap and Proofy, I believe, were also part of the OpTic Gaming team for Black Ops 1. But this is Team FaZe, now FaZe Red for Call of Duty Ghost. J-Cap from Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and AR Slayer, been competing since Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare 1.
Right there, he's going to be your AR Slayer. He too has been around for a very long time, since Call of Duty 4. He really came out on the scene in Modern Warfare 2 in a big way. You got Replays.
Replays from New Jersey. His role for FaZe Red in COD Ghost is an objective. He's been competing since Modern Warfare 4. Or I should say Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare 1, I'm sorry. But Replay's objective for FaZe Red in COD Ghost is OBJ.
He came out a little bit later in MLG Dallas 2012. Young guy, only 19 years old. He's going to be focusing on the objective role for this squad.
Yeah, he's the captain of the team, and he's playing with his good buddy. They're actually from the same hometown.
Huntington, New York, Classic FaZe Red. That is his name, FaZe Red. Classic is a support SMG. He's been competing since Call of Duty 4 Modern
This
Warfare.
is Classic. Now, Classic, not a household name in Black Ops 2. In fact, wasn't even competing on the pro circuit. Replays brought him back for Ghost, and boys, it's paying off. And of course, we have the...
And then Theory from Oneida, New York. His role is support for FaZe Red. He's been competing since Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare.
New for Theory, coming over from the Team Caliber organization. Played with that squad at COD Championships. Has quite a bit of experience.
So a lot of veterans for FaZe Red in Call of Duty Ghost going against the OpTic Gaming squad here. And then we get right into it.
At home, one going through red, the other one going up in that second level. J-Cap is going to get right into the action. He's going to be challenging for this B flag control, and really, if once you get B on this map, basically the side is over. So tough to get that middle flag back, and J-Cap already opening up with
I really love watching a lot of gameplays from Call of Duty Ghost as well, because, like I said, this was really the last time that I had ever personally and competitively enjoyed a Call of Duty game. As I've said, I still think that they should make a Ghost 2, but essentially that's kind of what Modern Warfare 2 and 3 felt like with these new era Modern Warfare games. But it is just so nice going back and looking at some of these gameplays, especially between these two rivals with FaZe and OpTic.
He's got two down on there. Theory's going to get taken out. Replay's trying to do something here, but they lose it. OpTic Gaming picking up the B flag, and that was really good answer by OpTic Gaming to knock FaZe off of that after FaZe did a great job positioning himself pulling B.
Yeah, there was actually 4 players from OpTic all on that B flag at once. Great teamwork. And guys, send in your tweets. Who do you think is going to take this series? Tweet your answer at MLG with the hashtag.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's correct. Back when Twitter was still Twitter and not X by Elon Musk. Back in the day, you could tweet who you thought was going to win.
The X Games, use your hashtag OpTic or FaZe Red. Already, the
I was going
OpTic
to say that number's about to be skewed real quick.
Yeah, so we're going to see a lot of Twitter fan love, I think.
And this is also still MLG at this point for Call of Duty Ghost.
This community is definitely big. They represent real well.
So off the break, it was all FaZe. J-Cap opens up 4-1. Since then, he's got 3 deaths.
Ooh, nice shot.
And only 1 more kill. Let's go to him now. He falls. Replay. Trying to defend over in the middle of the map. He goes down. Theory, last man standing. Is going to have his work cut out for him. He's behind enemy lines at OpTic's base.
Yeah, there's not much Theory can do until his team kind of spawns back in this. And now that they've got the whole squad back at it, they've got to make a push and try to do something here to stop OpTic Gaming and get in on that B flag with 2 minutes and 48 seconds.
It looks like this is a domination match.
Deficit here early on in the game.
So a little bit different from the hard point that we just watched in Black Ops 2.
About a minute and 20 now. Theory going to get shut down immediately by Nate Shot. Nate Shot on this right side spots a player. Going to get hit markers. Actually, that player's going down underground. That's going to be J-Cap trying to get a little bit sneaky here. Immediately called out and executed. Clayster is watching that position. OpTic Gaming looking so strong. Nadeshot's actually pushing into the base.
And Nadeshot trying to pick up a kills, but Replays turns around and picks him up. That's Replays that got a two-piece, so nice shooting out of him as we jump on board with Scump, who's hanging out in red, trying to make sure nobody makes a push on him. He must think that, I mean, since they're at C, FaZe in the C, he's got to watch out to see if anybody pushes in.
I think this is just his role in this setup. They are so confident with their beat control. Uh-oh, Peekaboo spots Theory. And actually, who was that up top? That was Replays doing the damage once again. Theory is going to be pushing up, though, on this white side of the map. And now, going into the last 2 minutes of this side, what can FaZe Red do to get back in the game?
Oh, man, you got to focus and just try to knock some kills down. At this point, it's getting, you know, OpTic is easily handling FaZe Red. They've got a nice 26-point lead. I mean, really, at this point, you've got to get your composure back, get some kills on the board, and then try to jump on the flag. Proofy with a nice pickup, taking out Theory. So that's going to be 1 down, 2 down for OpTic, 3 now. However, on the other side for FaZe Red, there was 2 down, so they can't really capitalize on the opportunity.
Unable to jump on B at this moment, but JCap's going to try and go behind enemy lines, possibly.
Just a little over a minute left in the round. OpTic is in the lead. They have 77 points compared to FaZe Red, who only has 47.
Won't be able to get the kill.
So FaZe still trying to catch up to OpTic in this domination round on Call of Duty Ghosts.
We're going to switch over to Proofy on the OpTic Gaming squad. He's going to get a trophy system out there, hang out. That's going to be 2 down for FaZe Red. As Theory's able to clean up Nadeshot. Proofy coming in here. He gets stabbed as Theory picks up a 2-piece there with a knife kill on Proofy. And OpTic Gaming just up at 37 points right now. Again, handling FaZe Red pretty easily.
Yeah, Classic's been struggling, to be honest. He was 6-13, now getting a few kills in the final minute. But I'm looking for him to have a much stronger second side. They're going to need it out of him if they want any chance of winning. Everyone falling here for this FaZe Red squad. Theory, last man in the middle of the map. He gets 1, but after OpTic got that 4-man push on the beat, they never let go of control. And they're going to go up over 100 points to just about 61 at the end of this first side.
Yeah, they're just struggling here on the side. Nadeshot picking up 2 nice kills there as he's doing great, 13-13 with 2 caps. You got Scump obviously just slaying everybody at 17-9. That's an impressive KD. And OpTic Gaming,
Scumpy the Slayer.
More than happy with Greenwald going into the second half.
But OpTic does take round 1 of domination.
Replays, stand up, yell at the boys, get them fired up. So he's trying to wake them up right now. A very hot start. They let it go. But FaZe Red just showing a little bit at the start what they can bring to the table. We got to show Scumpy, though. 17-9 did not feature him nearly enough on that first side. Talk to me about this player.
Oh, Scump personally, I think is one of the best, if not the best players in Call of Duty. I think he's an amazing slayer. He's often put OpTic on, the team on his back, and at 17-9, he allows the other players to kind of focus on getting the job done, so he can just kind of run around and take care of business with his raw slaying power.
Scumpy's going to find some action on the other side of this wall. He's been tagged up multiple times, still able to get the kill somehow, and a second.
Yeah, Scumpy is going off for this gameplay here.
Locking down the middle of this map single-handedly.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, though, right there. He's incredibly impressive.
Basically just 3-pieced all of FaZe.
That's going to be Replays that picks up a kill.
Right when they were trying to move in on the flanks.
Only Scump is up on the map, but if there's one person that can stop this B, it's going to be him. He's trying to move up there, but not able to make it happen. It's FaZe Red finally going to get some points on the board here, taking both B and A.
All right, guys, with 4 minutes left on the clock, OpTic Gaming has about a 40-point lead here in Freight Domination. Let's crank up our Turtle Beaches as we go to a listen-in.
Red door, red door, red door. Red door in the back, red door in the back. He's already on the ground side.
We're gonna see smoke.
He's still on the ground.
He's in the corner right there.
Bomb green, bomb green.
Yeah, he's there. They're gonna eventually aggressively spawn us off. They don't have to. Alright.
Fire rally. Gotta get this done. Let's go. Three, let's go.
I'll push your crates.
I'm getting a white.
He's spawn crates. No.
We can't. I got a white. Now he's
Playster gets a double kill. Now on a 3-piece. And they pretty much just cleared out all of FaZe right there. So FaZe had to spawn back up, try to attack these flags again. But OpTic is just in control of this domination match.
Let's get there.
They're gonna have to hop it.
Still 2 minutes remain, but OpTic is really doing their thing here. And as I've said, Nate Shot and Scumpy are a tough enough duo to try to compete against. And then you add Clayster and Proofy to that mix.
We are back, and here we go. Clayster on your screen.
You can hear just how crazy it gets.
At this point. Yeah, man, that's what I sound like if I'd be up 45.
Another advertisement here, getting played by YouTube. But Nate Shot and Scumpy were such a legendary duo.
With Clayster, and let's see what's able to happen. Proofy's able to pick up a kill. He's just on a roll. I mean, OpTic, I thought Murph made a really good point. He's like, this is either going to be a 3-0 or go to a game 5, and I kind of feel I agree with him on that.
And on what side?
It looks like it's about to go to a 3-0. 3-0 at this rate, yeah. I mean, FaZe has got it. Look, this game's it, right? I mean, we can talk, we can hang out here, talk about how the rest of the series is going to go, but at 163 to 111, this is it.
This is looking pretty brutal.
So really, right now, if I'm FaZe, you have to have short-term memory. I mean, if it's like a quarterback throwing an interception, like you can't just let this map sit on your mind, and now they've got to focus on that. I actually would be really interested in looking at FaZe Red, just their overall morale, just judging by it once we see them, because it's ugly right now for him.
Looking at the kills.
I mean, Classic's 15 and 29, man. I mean, he's about to go double negative.
I was going to say, Replace is holding his own. He's got 3 caps. He's positive at this point in the game. Theory, you know, we talked about his objective play. He's only been able to get 2 captures just because OpTic is shutting down the middle of this map. But he's got so many kills to his name. It's JCap and Classic that are really surprising me. These are the guys that are, you know, classified as the slayers for this team. Neither of them able to do their job.
Yeah, they're not slaying anything right now. They need to step it up big time. As we're on board with Proofy, he's going to get taken out there. He's picking up that kill. Jumping on board with Clayster. He's out. That's going to be 3 down for OpTic. Scump trying to pick up a kill. Scump is like...
This is pretty much the end of the gameplay right here, guys.
To do it. And I don't know if he's going to be able to pull it out, but...
OpTic absolutely held it down in domination on this Call of Duty Ghost.
You know, you really got to give it to the whole squad. Nate Shot slowed down a little bit in the second half, but everybody's been doing really well for the green wall.
I was going to say, as Nate Shot and Scumpy slow down, Proofy and Clayster are just getting heated up. 31 for Scump, Proofy now at 29. Same thing for Clay. And Nate Shot there at 21 and 27, getting 3 of the team's...
There you have it.
Scumpy getting the boys fired up as OpTic Gaming is going to take the first in our best of 5.
Yeah, big match out of those guys. That's what you need, man. You want to come into your game 1 hyped up, and I'll tell you what, it's got to feel a lot better for those guys to pick up such a... I mean, they didn't just win game number 1. They straight crushed them by 73 points. So that gives you the confidence you need going into a game 2 search and destroy.
All right, well, let's take a look at our stats. You see Theory and Replays talking about what went wrong. That side of the booth did well.
And they just both pointed at JCap.
The other side needs to get it going.
He did it.
And you can see it. Replays in Theory, 24 kills, 26 kills. JCap, 22. Classic needs to get something going. 18 and 33. He was just getting shut down in all of his pushes.
Yeah,
both
that's bad.
least kills in...
Kills for OpTic, though. Clayster with 32. Proofy with 29. Scump with 31. Scump went 31 and 20 in that gameplay. And then Nate Shot also had 21 kills. So Scump was absolutely just slaying them in that domination round. But, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for a little bit of our history lesson here. That's going to do it for our gameplay watch-alongs. We talked about OpTic versus FaZe today. When we come back with the next part, I think we're going to talk about OpTic versus Team Envious. Both of my favorite competitive teams in the Call of Duty scene. But thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for going back down memory lane with me. We got to watch some gameplays from 2 of my favorite Call of Duties of all time, Black Ops 2 and Call of Duty Ghosts. Later tonight, I do plan on streaming again. We will be doing some Last Drive-In with Joe Bob. We're going to be finishing our Phantasm Marathon with that. So check out the stream later tonight, guys, if you're interested in that. And thank you once again for being here with me today. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen. Peace, God.